welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to make a very highly requested video from random subscribers, like people that are just not close to me, like not my friends or family. Random people who have subscribed or viewed my videos have like DM'd me on Instagram, commented on my YouTube videos saying that, like, basically just asking a lot of questions. So I decided, you know what, why not just make another video kind of like going into depth about the technical things, but also a couple just like light-hearted things that a few of you guys have asked me. This video is basically about like frequently asked questions about SSLA part 2. This time it's just gonna be me because it's been almost 2 years since I graduated. I'm not in college anymore, so it's like getting videos of my close friends is just not as easy anymore because we don't live like 2 minutes down the road from each other. So it's just gonna be me. It's gonna be pretty boring, but hopefully this video will be helpful. Before going into this, there is another video. If you are new to my channel and you are planning on applying to SSLA, I have made 2 videos before this one. One of them is just about like a day in the life of an SSLA college student. It's just like a very fun video. The other one is frequently asked questions about SSLA, where we actually sit down and talk to the camera about just like random questions that we get about SSLA. So if you haven't watched that already, please do watch that, especially the frequently asked questions video, because there are a lot of questions on there that you might have been wondering about, which is like, you know, covered in that video. I'm not going to be covering that again in this video. Just like a heads up, do go watch that video first. If your questions are still not answered, then obviously feel free to watch this video. Just want to say that I did graduate in 2023, so it's almost been 2 years since I graduated. Maybe a couple things have changed when it comes to curriculum and just the college lifestyle, because it's been a while, but I don't think it's drastically changed. You know, this video will sort of just give you a gist of everything, but do not take it word by word, because there might be a little bit of a change when you end up going to SSLA for your first year. Also, because it's been 2 years, my memory is very much fizzled away about especially like all the technical stuff, like the curriculum and everything like that. So please do not take my word. Starting off with applying to SSLA and the requirements, because I'm an NRI, all they needed from me was just the grade sheets for your high school. So from 9 to 12, they just looked at your grade sheet, what GPA you got, the grades for each class, and that's about it. So it was very, very easy for me. I did not have to do an interview. I did not have to do an exam. Obviously, you can do it if you are an NRI. It is optional. So if you want to do it, you can, so that, you know, you get like a higher chance of getting in. But if you are pretty comfortable with the grades that you got in your high school and you think that's pretty much enough and you don't really want to try more, then that's also fine. But if you do want to higher your chances, I guess you can take the test and the interview. If you did do your 11th and 12th in India, that means that you have to take the exam and the interview, which unfortunately I don't really have a lot of insights on because I didn't take it. So I'm so sorry about that. I can't help you there. So yeah. Class timings is pretty much standard for the 4 years. You will have your first class starts at 7:30 and your last class starts at 5, and each class is 2 hours long. So 7:30 to 9:30, then your next class is 9:45 to 11:45. Then you have a lunch break from 11:45 to 12:30. 12:30 to 2:30 is your next class. 2:45 to 4:45 is your fourth class. And 5 to 7 is your last class. So these are the class timings. This does not mean that you will have a class in each and every single slot throughout the day. It is always like spaced out Sometimes you will have 2 classes a day, sometimes you might have 3 or maybe 4. 4 is also just kind of pushing it. You will never have 5 classes in a day, ever. I think 4 is pretty much the max you can go. But usually, most people usually have 3 classes a day. And if you're really lucky, sometimes you have just like 2 classes a day. Sometimes you only have 1 class. So yeah, those are the class timings, and that's how classes are usually located in these slots. The first year, you don't get to choose your majors and minors in SSLA. Pretty much it's all core classes that you have. You are with the entire batch for all these classes. You have to keep in mind, I might be wrong in this, so don't completely take this literally. You have about 6 to 7 classes in a semester, basically. And this pretty much goes from first year all the way to 4th year. You usually have 6 to 7 classes. They're all core classes. Sometimes they might be divided into batches, like batch A and batch B. That's about it. There's only 2 batches because there's around like 100 to maybe like 120 people per batch. That's how it was during our years. Other than electives. So electives is something that you can choose, something you're kind of interested in. It can be like dance, it can be singing, it can be cinema and script writing, or it can be law, something to do with law. It kind of like goes a little bit into the different like majors and minors that SSLA has. So you can choose your elective, and electives are usually just for 1 semester, and that's something you can choose. They'll give you like a list of electives, and almost all electives change every semester, so you get like a new list to choose from every semester. And those are just like a class of like maybe like 15 people if it's a really popular class, but sometimes it's like, 5 people, 6 people. You also get to be in the class with your seniors. So it's not just for first years, second years, third years, and 4th years also have to take electives. So you get to like collaborate with your seniors as well. Yeah, that's pretty much first year for you guys. They don't really, go into much. They're just sort of like giving you an idea of like each class so that you kind of get a better perspective of what you want to choose as your major and minor in your second year. Moving on to second year. Second year is when you have decided on your majors and your minors. So you get to decide that during your summer break from first year to second year. When we joined, like the batch of 2023 joined, that's when they started the honors degree, honors course, honors degree, I don't know. But before that, you were basically just allowed to do 1 major and 1 minor. But then when we joined, it was an honors degree. So you had 3 different options. You can either choose a double major, you can choose a double minor and a single major, or you can choose a single major and a single minor with an added elective on top of the elective that you usually have every semester. Those are the 3 options. I ended up taking a double minor with a single major. So it's really up to your preference, whatever you're more interested in. If you're really, really interested in 2 subjects, then you can double major in it. If you're sort of just interested, but you do want to explore more, you can take a double minor and just a major. Or if you just want to get like a semester, you want to have like changes every semester, then you can go for a single major and a single minor. So in second year, first semester, everyone is pretty much in the same class. There is no differentiation between a major and a minor. Everyone's pretty much taking 1 class together. So if I am a business major, I will be in a class with all the business majors and all the business minors, and we only have that 1 class together about business. So that's how it works in the first semester. When you go into the second semester, the majors will have 2 classes. 1 class is just for the major students for that specific subject, and the other class is with the minors, whereas the minors only have that 1 class for that specific subject. If it's a bit confusing, let's say I'm taking business as a major, I will be having 2 business classes throughout the week. 1 business class will just be all of us major students, and the other business class is the major students as well as the minor students. So that's sort of how it works. So that starts in second semester of second year, and then it goes all the way up to 4th year, second semester. You're pretty much doing that same schedule. So obviously it depends on what type of honors path you take. If you're taking a double minor, you'd have one class for one minor and another class for another minor. You'd have two classes for that single major. Basically, what you need to keep in mind is that from second year, second semester, no matter what path you take, you will basically be doing pretty much 6 to 7 classes in a semester. It's not like you choose one path and you have lesser classes. Everyone has the same amount of classes. Along with this whole like major and minor classes, you do end up taking one elective. Elective is, as I said, pretty much standard till you graduate. And if you are only minoring in one subject and majoring in one subject, then you have to double up on your electives because you need to be equal to the other two honors paths that we have. That's pretty much how it starts going from second year, second semester. Moving on to third year, you are basically doing all of this, but then you also have your seminar paper that you need to do. To be honest with you, I can't really give you much insight on that because I have completely forgotten. I'm pretty sure you just get to choose a subject that you want, kind of like how you choose an elective, and you have all these discussion groups, and then you have to sort of do your own research and gather a lot of articles. I guess it's kind of stepping stone for your dissertation paper. It's like a mini dissertation paper, but it's not like, as like intense. Either it's your third year last semester or fourth year first semester. I'm not quite sure, but seminar paper is something that you need to keep in mind, and that happens in either third year or fourth year. I'm not quite sure, but that's about it in third. I guess on top of that, there's also research methodology. These courses are very, very important because they really, really help you in your dissertation paper. Try to pay attention as much as you can. I know it can be very, very boring, but they really come in helpful when you do end up writing your dissertation paper, which is a very important paper in your fourth year. RM classes usually happen from first year, second year, third year. It's kind of like spread out a little bit, but it's pretty much relevant till your dissertation paper comes about. You have all these like core classes that come in from time to time, but you usually have like one core class even after you choose your majors and minors. Moving on to fourth year. Fourth year is mainly known for your dissertation paper, which is basically like a research paper. You kind of have to do your own research. I mean, you don't have to do your own. There's primary and secondary research. Depending on what you're more comfortable with, you can choose that. And you have to go with the major that you chose. Like the research question that you ask has to be along the lines of the major that you have chosen. So because I took psychology as a major, my question was based on psychology, and I had to do a lot of research on psychology and interview a lot of people about their psychological traits, etc. That happens in your first semester of your fourth year. I mean, you basically have to start researching and gathering like data or like interviewees, all of that. You end up starting during the first semester, but usually people start during the second semester because they're way too lazy. But this paper is like basically what takes up almost all your time in fourth year. And fourth year it's known for the dissertation paper, and that's pretty much all I remember fourth year being from. There's nothing else to it really. Aside from all of these things that I've mentioned, the other two things that you also need to keep in mind is there's a COP, which is a community outreach program that's mandatory, and there's internship that's also mandatory. Because in our 4 years in college, it was during COVID time, so we were able to just put in our hours or complete our hours before we graduate, because our time was very all over the place. There was no guarantee that you would even get an internship or go for like a COP. Because that was the case, we got till the end of graduation, but I don't think that's the case now because COVID's no longer like a relevant thing anymore. So I'm pretty sure that you have to do your COP during the summer break of your first year to second year, and your internship you need to complete from the summer break of second year to third year. And how you complete it is you just need to complete a certain amount of hours. After you've completed that, then you need to sort of give a presentation to a panel of like teachers and they'll score you on it, they'll ask you questions, and you just get a grade. That is two things that are also mandatory in order for you to graduate from SSLA. So making friends in SSLA is very easy. They make it super easy for everyone because in first year you kind of go for like this orientation program. During our first year they took us to like Aurangabad and everything for like a 2-day, I think it was a 2-day trip, 2 or 3-day trip. And we really got to like meet everyone in the batches. I don't know if that's still a thing now, but if that's not a thing, they definitely have like a day where, you know, you guys all play games, like icebreaker games and everything. And you get to meet one another before, you know, jumping into classes. They make it like very comfortable. It's not like you're just going straight into class on the first day you join SSLA. So it's very, very chill. You really don't need to worry about making friends. They give you plenty of opportunities to just sort of like meet everyone before college starts. Other than that, I would also really recommend for people to stay in the hostel in the first year. I ended up getting an apartment in our 3rd year of college because 2nd year was during, like, it was COVID, so I was back home. But in 3rd year, I ended up getting an apartment, but I loved living in the hostel. I met my best friend in the hostel, like we were rooming together, like the first day I met her, and she's like my best friend now. So I really cherish like the hostel memories, and I'm actually very grateful of like, you know, staying in the hostel, because although it might be really strict and everything, you end up meeting a lot of people, and some of them might be like your best friends after a couple years. You just never know. So I really do recommend staying in the hostel. You meet a lot of people that way too. Not even just from SSLA, you meet people from other Simbi colleges as well, which is great. The SSLA community is very open, and personally I think it's the best place to be, especially if you are an NRI. I was born and brought up in Oman. I went to an American international school, so I was very scared going to a college here in India because I was worried that the culture was not going to be the same as the one I grew up with. I was so wrong. Everyone in SSLA was the exact same as me. I did not feel different. I didn't feel like I was an outsider at all. They were just like the same, you know, and I was very scared that they were not going to be, and I felt like out of place. But that just wasn't the case because there's so many NRIs that come to SSLA. A lot of people from the Middle East, there's some that come from the US. Even the people that are from India itself, that like was born and brought up in India, most of them come from very like metropolitan areas as well. So they're not as conservative or like traditional as you would think them to be. If you are an NRI and you've never really lived in India, that can be like a perception that people can have if they're moving to India, but that's not the case. Like everyone from metropolitan areas like Mumbai, Bangalore, even Pune, they're all pretty much the same as anyone that lived outside of India. So I never really felt out of place. It's just so, it was very easy for me to just like get along with everyone. And even if you are, I just want to like put this out there, even if you aren't like exposed to like city life culture, I don't know, a very liberal culture, and you grew up in a very like traditional conservative way, SSLA will also make it very easy for you to not feel like an outsider if you are like, you know, coming from a very traditional household. Your life was very traditional and conservative. You wouldn't feel out of place that way either. Like no one's ever gonna judge you, basically. You can be someone who's extremely liberal, or you can be someone who's like traditional, and SSLA will still give you that community where you're not gonna be judged for anything. You don't need to worry if you're in either ends of the spectrum at all. That's what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to like apartments and everything like that, I would say the main places that students used to live when I was going to college was Rohan Mitla. I think there are 4 different Rohan Mitla societies. There's A to I, there's Upper Parijat, there's Lower Parijat, and there's E1 to E9. During our time, everyone, like almost all Simbi college students used to live in Upper Parjat. Like you walk out and you can see Simbi students everywhere. It was sort of like Simbi's building basically. So Upper Parjat was open to students. I don't know if they're still open to students now. Lower Parjat is just for families. A to Y was a bit like 50-50. Unless you directly contact the broker or directly contact the owner, you won't get a place in A to Y. E1 to E9 is also just for family. So there's only 2 societies of Rohan Mitla where you can stay as students. But then again, I don't know if that's like completely changed now. The other one is Camelot. Camelot was a pretty shady place, I would say. It's not as good as Rohan Mitla, but the prices are pretty decent. And a lot of students used to live there too. That's also like very close to at least the older campus that we were in. And then the last place is Konark Nagar. Konark Nagar had a lot of students as well, but there's also a lot of family members. And it's a very, very small society, so you kind of need to keep it low. You can't really have a lot of parties and everything like that because it is filled with a lot of family members as well. But the rent is damn cheap in Konark Nagar. And Konark Nagar is very close to like this area where you get like a lot of like juice and like chai and like shawarma. It's very accessible to all these things. And it's very close to the new SSLA campus. So I did my 4 years in the SLS campus, the law school campus now. And it was just the 3rd floor that that SSLA had. And I loved it. I loved our 3rd floor. And it was just a very small community, but it was nice, you know, it was just like very like cozy, I feel. But now we have moved, the campus is completely moved to the basically the SID campus. It's a lot bigger, and I think SCMS or SCMC, or maybe both, and SID, I think 3 colleges are in that campus. They are there and we have joined them in a different building, but it's pretty much in the same campus. And so I think we have 6 floors now. It's not just that one tiny floor with this long ass hallway. It's 6 floors. I don't know for what reason we need 6 floors, because there's max like 400 people all across the 4 years. So it's kind of unnecessary, but it's a new campus and I did go and visit it. It's nice. It seems a little, I don't know, lonely, I guess, because there's not a lot of people where it feels like, you know, it's like very happening. But yeah, I mean, that's the campus you guys will be going to. I guess you'll get to meet a lot more people there because there are, you know, 2 to 3 different colleges within the same campus as well. So I guess that would be nice. But if you do want to see like a snippet of the new campus, I did post it on my previous video. So do go check that out. I kind of give you like a 30-second clip of the campus, so you can sort of see it on there. So that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I didn't bore you guys, but I hope it was helpful and it did answer some of your questions and, you know, just give you like a better idea of what you're stepping into before actually stepping into the college. But this is gonna be my last and final video of SSLA. I've made pretty much like 4 videos of the college. I don't mind making like vlogs and everything like that if I do end up going to Pune and I do end up going to SSLA, but when it comes to just like questions and stuff, I think this is gonna be my final video because my memory's fading. I'm an old woman. So I'm not gonna remember anything a couple months down the line of how my 4 years went in college, other than, you know, like the fun. But if you do have any more questions, I am always happy to answer them through Instagram DMs or in the comments section. But when it comes to videos, this is just gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.